Movie lovers and watchers worldwide, are you ready to finally get rewarded for your movie passion? Welcome to a new season of Memory Score. This is a movie show that features hot movie geeks like you and me, and this involves you answering multiple questions in the space of 1 minute about the greatest Hollywood and Nollywood movies to win amazing cash prizes. Our special guests are your movie stars and filmmakers. Big question is, do you want to get rewarded for your movie passion? There is always someone to beat. I am your host, Kiki Omotoki, 6 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Do you really want to slay your face? You can do without contour. Powder palette that has different shades of powder. And a black pencil under the eye. You don't have to wear heavy makeup to look beautiful. Every gele has a length of 100. When I try to turn it, I would have excess. This is what's trending, and you're done.
Showing every Saturday at 11:30 West African time. Powered by House of Tara.
Joining us is so the show Unbroken, where we normalize conversations around mental health. For me, I know that the International Women's Day have come and gone with all the glitz and razzmatazz. I need to ask you, how many gifts did you receive on that day? How many? That's the question. So they gave you fridge. Good words. Okay, so it's safe to say that this year, women would actually receive so much love from people. A lot of people went on social media pages, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, to show love to their women on their special days. Yes, it was. And among the women that were celebrated on these special days, that is the International Women's Day as well as Mother's Day, is someone we very know as a prestigious woman, known very well for her stand in the media industry, and that is Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey is known to be one lady that is really strong and courageous. So you ladies out there, you guys are doing so well. You're moving mountains, and we are so proud of you.
That's right.
Now, known to be the world's richest African-American woman, there's something about her that strikes me, and it's what I'm going to share with you today. Now, do you know that this lady, Oprah Winfrey, was a product of teenage pregnancy?
Wow, I never knew about that.
Yes, and also shockingly, she herself became a teen mother at the age of just 14.
Wow.
Now, both stories, that's mother and daughter, there's something synonymous about them, and that is they were both teenage mothers due to some situations around them. And what is teenage pregnancy? Teenage pregnancy is pregnancy that occurs among females between the ages of 13 and 19. Now, according to World Health Organization, at least 777,000 births occur among adolescent ladies between the ages of 15 and younger in developing countries. Now, that's really far, though. Let's bring it home, here in Nigeria. Now, it says that an estimated 23% of women between the ages of 15 and 19 have begun childbearing, of which 17% have given birth to their first child, while 6% are on the verge, that is, pregnant with their first child.
Wow, that's a big one. From me to the fathers, the mothers, the uncles, the brothers of adolescents with pregnancy.
Yes.
I want to identify with us. Whenever it happens, a teenage, an adolescent got pregnant, it feels like the world is gonna crash. Oh, hope dashed, future lost. They said we didn't try. We didn't keep an eye on our younger ones.
That's true.
And
Very
that
complacent.
It's like that. But I've come to say today that on the side of the teenager too, there are roller coaster of emotions going on, anxiety, fear, which could lead to something serious.
That's true too.
So I'm saying that it is time to offer support, not judgmental remarks. And then when we say support can't just come, because the normal reaction is for you to be hysterical, for you to be emotional, but we need education for us to be rightfully supportive to these people. And that's why on the show tonight, we are discussing teen pregnancy challenges and the adverse mental health.
Indeed, and you too can be a part of this show. You can call in and reach out to us across our social media platforms at Views Channel 108 on Twitter and Instagram, also Views Channel on Facebook and YouTube. Right now, we want to sit back and watch a video clip about a young lady named Abe and her experience with teenage pregnancy. Please, let's watch now.
I am Odefunso Abiodun Adedamola. I'm a hairstylist by profession, and I'm a 9-to-5 worker at Expression Nigeria multimedia marketing team, and then I host red carpet events. So that's basically what I do. At this moment, I'll say I'm at post-recovery phase. I'm at the point where I feel okay, I've stabilized. We'll probably talk about the journey that got me to this post-recovery, but at this moment, I think I'm balanced. Okay, so I am a single mom. Yeah, my son is 4 years old. The recovery is from the experiences that led to my the birth of my child and everything I had to deal with afterwards. So in 2016, I had my son, but before then, the beginning of the story was when I finished from the university in 2014, and I had to come to Lagos. My parents have a place in Lagos, but I do not stay with them. I had to come and live with one of my nephews in Lagos. So at that point, when I came to the house, just a few months to the house, we had issues that he felt my presence in the house wasn't, okay for his wife. So I had to leave the house. And as a young grad, I just got a job. I was managing, and I didn't have enough funds to, get an apartment and everything. So it wasn't really easy for me juggling my job with. So at that point, I didn't have accommodation, and I also had issues with my mom at that time. So, it was a lot for me to take at that time. I felt at that time like the whole of my world was just shutting down on me, because, okay, here was who I felt loved me enough to take me in, asking me to go out. I had a really good relationship with my mom, and at that time it was sore, so everything wasn't running nicely, and there was a bit of a leftover mental issue that I came out from school with, although my friends at this point were able to help me, but that one is another story entirely, and I think it's a major part of what became the bigger issue when this episode of my life started. The period of having to move here and there, trying to, sort another accommodation and everything, I met the father of my child, and at that time it was the only person promising anything that looks like love, because I felt, okay, the whole world is shut down, nobody is loving me anymore, everybody is angry with me, nobody wants to be with me and everything. So here was this knight in shiny armor, it was being all nice and everything, and then he came into the picture, and before we could count 1+1, we had something I thought was a relationship, and I became pregnant, and that was when he showed his true color and intent. And when I told him about the baby, he said no, it wasn't his son, and that he doesn't accept responsibility. So at that point, it was the end of my world, because here I was, a graduate with expectations. You know the normal Nigerian cliche, like when you're at least you didn't have a child in school and everything. Now that you're done, next thing is for you to get married, and after you get a job, next thing is for you to get married, and now you have pregnancy out of wedlock. And sincerely, it was a big blow to my life at that point, because everybody was obviously disappointed. In fact, it was just a shutdown on me. That period, I didn't have to deal much with the outside environment than more of the battle I had to fight within my mind. Okay, so I'm going to be a mom. I didn't even plan this, and the mindset I've had about motherhood wasn't, I was going to go through all of this alone without a partner, and that was something that I hadn't prepared my mind for. So it affected me, in isolation. I remember a lot of nights I would cry, I would ask questions, but during all that time, I'm not going to lie about the fact that I actually got support. When we were going to leave the hospital, his grandma requested that we go to their house, which I wasn't going to, but out of respect for my family members, uncle, my mom, everybody felt, okay, fine, now that they've admitted that the child is theirs and everything, so I eventually went with them, and I stayed with them for close to a month. And the day I was going to leave, it was actually a fight because prior to that day, I went out for a training, and by the time I was back, his grandma claimed that I left the child without feeding, which was a lie. So she stopped when the child cried. Instead of letting me breastfeed him, she was feeding him milk. It wasn't the first time I was taking milk. I mean baby food and all that. So that particular midnight, I was going to feed my baby and she didn't permit me. Whenever the baby cried, she would give him child milk, you know, like baby food and everything. And I didn't understand what was happening. I'm like, okay, what's up and everything. And then till the next morning. So here I was, my chest was really heavy and everything, and I was wondering what was happening. At first I'm like, okay, maybe she was angry or something, but later on I'm like, this is not getting funny anymore. So I had to call my mom, and she was like, hello, she's trying to win that child off you, and that means she can take the child from you anytime. I'm like, wow, why would she want to do this? For what reason? Why would you want to win my child off me? The child didn't even want in the first place. So at the end of the day, I had to leave because I felt, okay, maybe because I'm staying with you guys, that's why you feel you can treat me this way. And then when I was going to leave, they said I couldn't leave with my child. Wow. And then his father threatened to beat me if I didn't, if I tried to take the child away. I'm like, I brought the child into this house. I have to leave with the child. I left the house without the child. I went back to our house without my son. And I remember going back, I called one of my friends, Ruke, and her mom is a lawyer, so she was the one that told me to come to her office, wrote a petition against them. Immediately she prepared all the necessary documents, and before I left her office, she called the father of my child and told him that, young man, if you do not want to sleep in prison, you have to release that child to the mother. And that was the point where he was like, he doesn't care who he's talking to, that boy is not coming back. Eventually, when the call ended, I had to go home. I got home around past 11. I don't know who spoke to them, but on getting home, I met them at my house and they had brought my son back. You know how family issues are and how this parenting thing can be. You have this idea, they have this idea, who is going to take custody of the child. And then when responsibilities start coming in, you're wondering, okay, who will take this, who will take that? Because of the situation surrounding the birth, I didn't have the full trust of his family members either, because they didn't know me. For the sake of my son, yes. But personally speaking, there were some personality issues and stuff that I didn't feel that made us compatible. And not to forget, at the point where we had that relationship, I wasn't even in a sane state of mind to speak. I would say I was tending towards depression at that point because everything wasn't even okay. The stigmatization of single mothers exists because of how much weight people build on marriage. You know, there is this societal respect that is conferred on married people, and if you're single and you have a child, you're not entitled to that respect. Or why? Because you're not Mrs. or somebody's madam or something. Someone thinks that, oh, you're just someone's baby mama. No, I'm a mother. And whatever respect you're going to confer on anybody who bears that title, I believe that I'm fully entitled to. We all went to the labor room. We all had to deal with whatever a pregnant woman had to deal with. And I don't think it's just fair to say, oh, because you're not, just because I'm not married. So many people had an option to do otherwise, and the fact that I took that responsibility is enough to give me all the respect I deserve. So I think it's unfair.
It is still the the show Unbroken, and we are discussing today teen pregnancy and challenges and the adverse mental health. And we will not be doing this alone. Sure. We have in the house our guests. I'm excited about introducing her. Why? Because she's a professional counselor. She is someone who is committed to, she has dedicated her practice to seeing teenage and adolescents migrate to adulthood without stress. And she has done this with a lot of results underneath her belt. So she's brain with beauty, soft-spoken, but with real content. With me tonight, welcome, Temitayo Owoshina.
She had to call the first name, the full name.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome on the show.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
We're so glad to have you.
I'm delighted to be here today.
Yeah, and as our custom is, I need to ask, how is your mental health?
I am in a good place.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, give a number.
7.
7.
Wow, that's a pass mark.
You're passing. Okay, so before you begin, I'd like to call the phone lines. The phone lines are now up. It's 0706-318-3892 is the number to call to get through to us here on the show. And if you also need to reach out to us across our social media platforms, it is all displayed on your screen at Vish channel.
Okay, Tayo, thank you so much for honoring us on the show, and we believe that we're in good hands. And our viewers at home are going to learn a great deal.
Yes, they will.
So I have our topic today, like we said, teenage pregnancy challenges and the adverse mental health. So I want to ask you this question: what time is it good for a female to get pregnant? I'm going somewhere. Because I know that they tell us that when you are young, it's not good for you, it's not good for your health, it's not good for your mental health.
Yes.
And when some people are advanced in age, they said there will be congenital problem too at childbirth. So I want you to share with us, what is the right age for a female to be pregnant? And share with us as well the physical challenges that comes with teenage pregnancy.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, I'm excited to be here today. Now, speaking of what age a female should get pregnant, well, I'm going to be really zeroing in on adolescents.
Okay.
Now, if you ask when is the right time, a female can actually choose to get pregnant. There is really no, this is the age you're expected to get pregnant.
Okay.
But a woman, once you're an adult, and when we say adult, that means you're already 21 plus.
Okay.
I mean, you're young adults now. So from young adults to adulthood, of course, you can choose to be pregnant, depending on the peculiarities of your environment.
Okay.
So you can actually choose to be pregnant.
Okay.
I mean, so recommending that a particular age is what is when is expected for a woman to be pregnant. I may not categorically say, okay, this is the age that a woman should get pregnant. Now, speaking of adolescents, at what age should, or at what age can an adolescent get pregnant? As long as the child has started to menstruate, the child can get pregnant.
You mean
So,
can't? Should?
Can get pregnant.
Okay.
So it is advisable really for young people, especially adolescents. And when I say adolescents, I'm referring to girls between the age of 10, well, is as early as 8 now.
Yes.
Adolescents is as early as 8 now. So from the age of 8 to 21, about that,
Yes.
it's advisable that you're choosing to get pregnant when you are aware of the decision you're making.
Okay.
When it's actually you that is saying that I'm ready now, then it's planned. Because talking of teenage pregnancy is also mostly called unplanned pregnancy.
Okay.
So if you're not ready for it, you're not planned for it, which many adolescents fall into that category, then you shouldn't really get.
So I got from what you have said to us here now that if you had gone above the teenage brackets, If you have gone above the teenage bracket, you are fit to be pregnant. Let's say from 20, you can choose. You are matured enough, okay, but you can be pregnant, you know, biologically from the age of 9 to.
Okay, so let me clarify that. An adolescent, the moment you reach puberty, and that's for the girl, you're beginning to grow your breasts.
Yes.
And once you start to see that onset of breast growth, about 2 to 3 years after that, you begin to menstruate.
Okay.
It can be plus or minus. And then, the moment you begin to menstruate, the girl can get pregnant. So, for some girls, adolescence comes early.
Okay.
That puberty years come early. We have something we call today, we call it early puberty.
Okay.
So it can go early. So for some girls, I've seen girls of 10 years old menstruating. I've heard of 8 years old menstruating. So you can see that the dynamics are different.
Yeah.
So as early as you've started to menstruate and you're reaching your puberty, you can get pregnant.
So in this part of the country, I believe that people don't usually get ready. Even, you know, you said that unwanted pregnancy or unplanned pregnancy is the one that is wrong. It could be at any age.
Yeah.
If it is planned, if you can decide, it's good for you. But we know that in this part of the world, or anywhere in the world, if we say physically people are fit to get pregnant, what about mentally? Somebody can feel they are ready, they've chosen to be pregnant.
To take a cue from what he said, you know, like in the northern part of Nigeria, we have a lot of adolescents / young teenagers going into marriage at a certain age.
Right.
And to us, it's like, it's condemnable, don't do it. And the parents are like,
Yes,
fit
they are
to go into. So that, what is...
Does it make it right?
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of teenage pregnancy, the peculiarity of the environment of the child goes a long way to determine the impact, the effect, the right or wrong perspective you want to adjudge to it. So, like you said, actually in Nigeria as we speak, the northern part of Nigeria has the highest rate of unplanned pregnancy.
Okay.
That's teenage pregnancy. So, and in that environment, like we have the early marriage, you have the a lot of issues around young people getting married, you know, even out of their own will or their own volition.
Yes.
Now, we can say that young people in that kind of environment, it may not be seen as bad. The society is not judging it bad. I mean, to them, it's okay. So, in fact, in that environment, when a child is pregnant, we may not really see that onset of mental illness as it were.
Okay, because we have a caller on the line. Yay! Our first caller for tonight. All right, good evening. Welcome to the show Unbroken. What is your name and where are you calling from?
All right, I just want to say God bless you.
It's more serious.
I just want to say
Okay. I can hear you. Oh, so sorry, we lost that call. I'm really, really sorry. Please do call back. The number is still 0706 318 389.
So Taya, let me throw this question again.
Oh, okay. We have another call again.
Wow.
Hello. Good evening. Welcome to the show Unbroken. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
all right, my name is Pamela. I'm calling from Cape.
Okay, Pamela from K2. Kindly ask a question or make a contribution.
Okay, I just want to say God bless you. Thank you for your program.
Thank you.
This is the story of my life.
Wow.
And a lot has been said because I had my first child very early.
Wow.
And it was just for my family, not something I got. I only know the way. I had friends to feed me. And, you know, one disturbed me too. I just want to say God bless you because today I realized the very tough situation.
Okay.
God bless you.
Thank you very much for that call, Pamela. God bless you too for tuning on the show. Thank you very much. As we were discussing about.
Okay, I was almost asking Tara a question before that call came in. I was saying that what should be the first, yes, we're talking about this side whereby we don't have the culture of giving 13-year-old or 9-year-old out in marriage in this part of the world, part of the country. I want to ask you, what should be the first reaction and the general response of family members to a teenager that is pregnant? Because we can see from Abby, she went through a lot.
She did.
A lot. A lot.
She was expecting open arms like this, but she got something.
She didn't get it.
Okay, that's a very beautiful question because teenage pregnancy actually is one of those things that causes gap in families because parents that are, Nigerian parents that are taking care of the child that has labored, on the child. Now the child comes to say, I am pregnant. So the question of what should be the response of a parent, I would say that the response of a parent depends on the uniqueness of that family, and it differs from parent to parent. Now, a mom or a parent, it can be the father or the mother, would respond like a parent. And then, so however the parent has responded, I think in that instance is still fine. What is important, or maybe the question should not be, what should happen after that? The moment it was shared. Because it is something that will affect, it's a family concern. It is not the child alone. So I'm going to be, this conversation, I'm going to be coming a lot from the family angle, all right? Because it's a family problem. Yes, it's civic, so it's community problem, and it's family problem.
That's right.
It's a lot to do with the family. So it's not only the child that is going through it. The parents are in it together, the siblings, the family members, the immediate
neighbors,
the school. So it's a whole lot that comes into it. So if the environment is responding in the instance of breaking the news, that's okay. Then what happens next? Now, once the news has been broken, as a mother, now depending on the kind of relationship that subsists between the mother and the daughter now, or maybe the father and the daughter now, the relationship that existed between them before, would also help to channel that news. The family will be in shock. The family needs to go through that period.
So the shock is good.
The shock is fine. It's part of the process.
That's right.
So we can't pretend as if, no, it shouldn't happen, or we tell parents not to respond. No, parent can respond. They can react to the news. But what happens afterwards? The shock is okay. Welcome, receive that shock. Now, parents without awareness, the shock will go for a long time, and they will do nothing about it. And they maybe just respond or react by, okay, what makes the video? They will make decision for the child. And
that's right.
But with this awareness, once the news has come, entertain the shock. Entertain it. Now it has come. With this awareness, you now need to, okay, so what do we do? The family will be asking unified questions. What do we do? What do we do about this? Now, I like to say this about teenage pregnancy. If it has not happened, you can say, okay, may it not happen. But once it happens, the next question is, what do we do?
Where do we go from here?
Very, very critical. The child is only a child. And an average adolescent, an adolescent is a dependent.
That's right.
Pregnancy, this dependency ratio is higher. So, and then it's a whole lot. Pregnancy is not one thing that is happening only to the mental health. It's having bodily impression or expression with the child, is having a mental implication on the child, is having psychological implication on the child. So it's a whole lot.
Hold it there, please. I like us to, I asked it the other time, but it's like it was kept in the midst of a lot of other explanation. What are the physical characteristics? What are the physical challenges that come with, biological challenges that comes with teenage pregnancy?
Okay, so teenage pregnancy is also called adolescent pregnancy.
That's right.
And because it starts early,
that's right,
to about 21.
Oh, 21 now.
Yes. But because when we say teenage pregnancy, then it's 13, like 19, like you rightly mentioned when we started. Now, depending on the age this is coming, there are 3 stages of adolescence.
Okay.
We have the early adolescence, the middle adolescence, and the late adolescence.
Okay.
Early adolescence age is that age between 10 and 13. It can be as early as 8 to like 13.
Okay.
Middle adolescence is like 14 to 17. And late adolescence is 18 to 21. Now, depending, the higher rate of pregnancies we have in young people is middle adolescence, really. And depending on the age it has come, that determines the expressions, how it is showing up for the adolescent. Because already there are developmental milestones that happen for the adolescent. Like in early adolescence, for instance, the child is only a child that is having onset of breast. And not even have come to fullness of the breast already. Having hair on the arm.
So let's actually wrap it up. What are the general things to watch out for, the challenges that is common to all of them?
And maybe you can also put the challenges on how it affects even the child being born. Now, adolescent is a child, as you said, independent having a child. So it's like a child having a child. What psychological effect does it have on the child in question? That is the child being born. So you can add it to it.
Okay, so in teenage pregnancy, it is possible for the child to carry to terms and give birth to the child. And there are options around resolving the pregnancy.
Okay.
There are different options around really resolving the pregnancy. And I'm going to be careful of giving, things to do, things to watch out for. We need to understand the uniqueness of that family. What age is the child pregnant? What is the settings of the family? What's the decision of the family? And this decision is made with the child. So that it helps to minimize the effect on the child.
That's right.
So we have to go on a break now. Yes. So we're going on a short break, but when we return, we'll continue this conversation on teen pregnancy, challenges, and adverse mental health. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Movie lovers and watchers worldwide, are you ready to finally get rewarded for your movie passion? Welcome to a new season of Memory Score. This is a movie show that features hot movie geeks like you and me, and this involves you answering multiple questions in the space of 1 minute about the greatest Hollywood and Nollywood movies to win amazing cash prizes. Our special guests are your movie stars and filmmakers. The question is, do you want to get rewarded for your movie passion? There is always someone to beat. I am your host, Kiki Omotoki, 6 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Do you really want to slay your face?
You can do without contour. Powder palette that has different shades of powder. And a black pencil under the eye. You don't have to wear heavy makeup to look beautiful. Every gele has a length of 100. When I try to turn it, I would have excess. This is what's trending, and you're done.
Showing every Saturday at 11:30 West African time. Powered by House of Tara.
Channel, in partnership with DW, presents the creatives can now showcase their skill and talent to the world.
Growing up for me was what actually informed my choice of photography.
Role model, one of who is Osu KJ. I love his interpretation of his role.
Don't touch me, you demon!
He's an amazing guy. He's very slick, easygoing. I have a relationship with him, so I know that this guy, he means business.
Don't miss out as they get to reveal what makes them unique.
What makes me unique from other rappers? A kind of creativity, how I construct my lyrics.
Sharing their journey and why they are the next big thing you should look out for.
I should be a World Sports Award winner in 5 years.
We're working really hard to make sure 3 years time Body Black will be a brand already.
Hi guys, my name is James Jiboma. I'm an actor and commercial model. I am the next one you should look out for.
Next one, showing at 1:30 p.m. Wednesdays and Saturdays on Fuse Channel.
Welcome back, my people. We are on the segment whereby I share top tips on mental issues that will help us to move on strategically in life. It helps us to stay mentally healthy. So today I'll be sharing with us tips to help our teenagers, adolescents cope when they find themselves in pregnancy. Okay, so I go to tip number 1. I hope you're ready for me. I hope you're taking notes because this is going to come handy anytime you need it. It doesn't even have to be about you. It could be about your neighbor. It could be a nephew. It could be a niece or something. So let's go. Tip number 1 says, tip number 1 is all about support the teenager. Offer support, provide support. So here we're saying the emotions rolling in from the family, from the teenager. Okay, the one for the family is anger, denial, shame, not ready to face the world. And for the teenager, it's anxiety, it's depression, it's worry, not knowing where to go next. So it is normal for us. Our emotion as a family is valid. But quickly we must switch from being emotional to being supportive. Okay? When we say supportive here, we mean it's time for us to listen to the feeling and the thinking of the adolescents and to offer ideas on how to handle challenges that is to come. So this is all about communication and not being judgmental. It's been about understanding and not being judgmental. So it's important. It seems simple, but it's very important. We cannot afford to be emotional. We cannot afford to be judgmental. We have to be listening ears. Because we listen does not mean we agree. So we move to tip number 2. Tip number 2 says discuss the options. WHO standard gives option to a pregnant teenager. And then it could be any of this. Keeping the child, keeping the pregnancy, becoming a early pregnant, becoming a young parent, or giving up the child for adoption, or doing abortion. Abortion is illegal in Nigeria, but it's good for us to have this kind of conversation, to know what is going on in the heart of the child, so we can put them aright in any decision they may be making. So we move to tip number 3. Tip number 3 says, encourage promote prenatal care. Challenges comes with teenagers' pregnancy, a lot of it. So being under gynecologist or specialists will be able to prepare the child and forestall a lot of challenges that could have come. Preterm baby, low weight problem, and then all sorts like that. Induced hypertension, pregnancy-induced hypertension. All of these things can be afforded if the child begins prenatally and continue to the end. The kind of food to be eating, the kind of lifestyle to be engaging will be managed in such a situation. So we have to promote prenatal care. And last but not least says, prepare for the future. This could be a sort of a curb for such mistake in the times to come. While we are not being judgmental, while we are not being harsh, but there has to be practical conversation with the child. A parent has to be responsible for their children, even no matter how young the child is. We have to let them know where our involvement stops and where their decision starts. If the child, if the child chooses to keep the pregnancy, we have to let them know there could be needs to continue education after pregnancy, the stigma or the rejection that will follow. A lot of time they don't finish college, not being able to get a good job, and all of that. So these are the tips for us to help cope with our teenagers that may be pregnant. So we're saying here that if you are unable to do all these things, remember it's time to reach out to professional support. And if you are in need of professional support for your mental health care, you can reach out to us at Olamma Cares Foundation. You can send an email to support@olammacares.com, or you can reach out to us across all our social media platforms at Olamma Cares. Till I come your way on this segment next time, remember, your mental health is your responsibility.
Thank you very much for those tips on how to cope with teenage pregnancy for those who actually find themselves in that situation. Indeed, support is really, really important. Support. It's really important. I've seen situations whereby the mother of this child is like, no, how can you do this to me? How can you do this to me? And you see the child all wrapped up. So I need to ask Ma, what exactly is the mental health of that child at the time? What is the adverse mental health of adolescents who actually find themselves in this situation of teenage pregnancy?
Okay. Many things happen with that come with the teenage pregnancy. Yes. And one of the things that happen is that there is alienation. Depending again on the structure of the family, the child can be alienated from the family or disengaged from the family. All right. The child, there can be tension that rises in the family. There can be chaos in the family, conflict in the family.
That's right.
All of these things that happen are things that result into mental health problems for the child. So these are the events that may come or usually come with teenage pregnancy. So when these things happen, when these things show up, then these things can begin. I mean, the child that is now alienated from the family begins to feel like, oh, how blame, shame, and all of that coming on her, and she's feeling to herself that, oh, she's guilty. She feels guilty and all that. Then again, maybe the boy in question is not even owning up or something. So it's a whole lot of that happens to the child. So some of the mental health concerns that now come as a result of these events that come with the teenage pregnancy. You have the child being anxious, panic, a lot of panic. The child is afraid of the future, afraid of the present, afraid of what's going to come out of this. Will she ever get through this? Will she ever get back to school if she's an ambitious girl? Will she even survive it? Then she's also asking questions: should I keep? Should I give out? What should I do? And all that. Another thing that can happen is a lot of times they begin to their eating is affected. So eating disorders can happen.
All right. So this is also all this can actually happen.
Stress. We have stress. Post-traumatic stress disorder can come up.
That's right.
Now, a lot of times also, a pregnant adolescent can begin to live dual personalities. And then we have dual personality disorders. So personality disorders can actually...
So all this can result from teenage pregnancy.
From teenage pregnancy.
All right. So, wrapping up the show, thank you very much for staying with us. But I need to, for our viewers out there, what's your last remark you can give them, and advice?
Okay, so teenage pregnancy is a big deal, but we don't have to allow it to get to that point. So I am on the side of prevention. I like to say the best prevention for teenage pregnancy is really abstinence. So a young person that's not had sex before, a young person that's not pregnant, you can be on the side of prevention because prevention is cheaper. Prevention is more affordable, it's more cost effective, and it's good for your health. your physical health and your mental health. So, and parents also should be understanding and be skilled. And then, of course, at any point in time, there is no adolescent problem that cannot be minimized, if not eradicated. Seek help.
That's true.
Seek professional help. Seek the help of counselors, seek the help of therapists, psychiatrists, depending on what's showing up for the child. So it's important that parents begin to understand that seeking help is critical. Seek help for your child. And lastly, I would like to say, when you have a physical problem, what do? You go to the hospital, you probably see a doctor.
Yeah.
When you have a spiritual problem, what do? You
go to church.
You go to church, you go to your pastor.
Yeah.
When you have mental health problems, what do? Many a times we don't have an answer to that. When you have mental health problems, you have professionals that can help you. Not having a plan for that as a family is a disservice to that family, and especially the adolescents in that family setting. So it's important, every family should have a program of care for the adolescent in the family.
Wow. Thank you. You have been really amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you
for coming to the show. Yes.
Thank you for having me.
It's that time again. I hate to say it, but we need to go. Thank you guys for tuning in to the show today.
Thank you so much.
Amazing, so much insightful. And I believe we learned some things about it. But don't forget that the conversation continues across our social media platforms at Views Channel 108 on Twitter and Instagram. Also Views Channel on Facebook as well as YouTube.
Always remember, if you're in need of support, professional support for your mental health care, you can always reach out to us at Olamma Cares Foundation. You can send an email to support@olamacares.com, or you can reach out to us across all our social media platforms.
Yes, it is. All right. I'm still your host, Joy Nicolo.
And I'm Fumi Taiwo.
Remember, you
are unbroken.
Movie lovers and watchers worldwide, are you ready to finally get rewarded for your movie passion? Welcome to a new season of Memory Score. This is a movie show that features hot movie geeks like you and me, and this involves you answering multiple questions in the space of 1 minute about the greatest Hollywood and Nollywood movies to win amazing cash prizes. Our special guests are your movie stars and filmmakers. The question is, do you want to get rewarded for your movie passion? There is always someone to beat. I am your host, Kiki Omotoki, 6 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays.